All you ever wanna do is play. So let's play.
Yeah. Hey, we stay woke, but y'all sleep. Real mode, but y'all sheep. Out in public, she a good girl, but at the crib, she a real freak. New throne for the new king. Same kid, now my streets go. Same gang, got the cheat code. I said stay woke, we in real mode. I said stay woke, real mode. Stay woke, real mode. I said stay woke, real mode. Stay woke, real mode.
I said stay woke, real mode. Stay woke, real mode. I said stay woke, real mode. Stay woke,
yeah,
real mode.
Well, we can hold the peace or we can wage war, but I'm gonna get what I came for. Real gang, that's a true name. We all graduated to the two-door. Sacred Global, that's an infrastructure. All y'all niggas like the Titanic. I'm the iceberg, talking no Zucker on the front lines, but we don't panic. Shit getting messy, got nothing to rest, and I'm tired of niggas. They front they blessings, they want my suggestion, but don't want the fee. I'm just doing me, I don't answer their questions. All this flexing, got no one to see. All this aggression, I just want some peace. Not even sure that I like it in heaven. I guess when we get there, then we gon' see. I do not understand, I do not get what you do. You only got one life, but you act like you got two. Yo, we go bigger than what you are willing to do. I run with kings, but you peasants, you run with the goons. Hey, we stay woke, but y'all sleep. Real mode, but y'all sheep. Out in public, she a good girl, but at the crib, she a real freak. New throne for the new king. Same kid, now my streets go. Same gang, got the cheat code. I said stay woke, we in real mode. I said stay woke, real mode. Stay woke, real mode. I said stay woke, real mode. Stay woke, real mode.
I said stay woke, real mode. Stay woke, real mode. I said stay woke, real mode. Stay woke, real mode.
Hey, y'all some jokers, y'all a bunch of clowns. You will not get a laugh out of me. You can talk, but you can't denounce. I live a different theology. Why I transferred to a new account? You just fucked over a prodigy. Posted up with a rented crown.
You are the king and apology.
You about to see a new side of me, I hope you know. We stand up and watch our enemy go. Empire fall, my legacy grows. I might just hop on this melody flow. All this vision, no clarity though. Y'all play a game that I bear in my soul. Ebony, ivory, nobody knows. Business vasectomy, nothing can grow. Everyone promises more than they actually do. We don't deliver on anything other than truth. Yo, we go bigger than what you are willing to do. I run with kings, but you peasants, you run with the goons. Hey, we stay woke, but y'all sleep. Real mode, but y'all sheep. Out in public, she a good girl, but at the crib, she a real freak. New throne for the new king. Same kid, now my streets go. Same gang, got the cheat code. I said stay woke, we in real mode. I said stay woke, real mode. Stay woke, real mode. I said stay woke, real mode. Stay woke, real mode.
I said stay woke, real mode. Stay woke, real mode. I said stay woke, real mode. Stay woke, real mode. You really have people fooled out here, don't you? When are you peasants gonna learn that you can't pretend to be a king? It ends today.
It's been a while since I dropped this shit. Swole fam, y'all better run this up. KD, let's go. Yeah. Aye, East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, Global with that gang gang, you know we don't play gang, East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, Global with that gang gang, you know we don't play gang, East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, Global with that gang gang, you know we don't play gang, East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, Global with that gang gang, you know we don't play gang. I'm blessed, I never said I didn't struggle. I finesse, I never said I didn't hustle. These niggas talk so loud, the way I move is subtle. I'm the ocean, but these niggas just a puddle. Ay, oh, I swear I'm delusional. These niggas ain't using me. They want my energy, ain't nothing new, this is usual. These figures confusing me. What's gotten into me? They say I'm using their cubicles. Clip a KD like some cuticles. None of this shit is excusable. Don't need a muse when I'm musical. Hey, whoa, I'm tired of saying for truth when nobody's doing it. Yeah. They're controlling the youth. Agenda of fusing them, nigga. We losing them. Matter of fact, we just abusing them. That's a fact. We try to vote with a ballot act. Fucking low key with the Tesseract. They throwing smoke when they got it. Get the fuck up out your little bubble. They wanna ask how much it costs, I said it double. Gorilla beard, these niggas only rockin' stubble. The realest nigga make these bitches start to stumble. Aye, East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, Global with that gang gang, nigga. You know we don't play guys, yeah. East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, Global with that gang gang, nigga. You know we don't play guys, yeah. East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, Global with that gang gang, nigga. You know we don't play guys, yeah. East Coast with that gang gang, West Coast with that gang gang, Global with that gang gang, nigga. You know we don't play guys, yeah.
The following program is rated TV MANOC. It contains a big pair of nuts directly on your chin. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Go to the fucking gym.
Obesity is epidemic in the United States and a major cause of death.
What is fat activism?
I, a fat person, am sharing my own lived experience.
Pizza is a vegetable.
Your fat phobia is your problem.
It is not my place as a smaller-bodied white man to comment on it.
Radical body positivity.
What can men do against such reckless hate?
There's only one man who can help me.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
This day we fight!
Whoa, normal.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Yes, indeed. Testing. Testing, testicles. Ooh, welcome everyone to episode 28 Hundo and 74 as the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beercast, Broadcast, Gamecast, Mancast, Pimpcast, Sleazecast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, Beaches, Booshes, Bustas, Hustles, and your hoes? It's your boy Papa Swolio back with another episode. And today's episode of the Beastcast is brought to you, is powered, is sponsored by Eversting K2, flexing on all you Beaches.
It's the fucking Catalina wine mixer.
All right, fam, welcome to the show. Welcome to 2874. Thanks for being here. Hit the thumbs up button, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're live on Zarumble, rumble.com/The Daily Swole. Of course, you could find your favorite Sleazecast over there on Spotify, Apple Podcast, anywhere that you prefer to bang your ear holes and eye holes, you can find old Papa Swolio. So make sure you share the stream, hit the thumbs up button, and drop in the comments down below. What are you smashing today? We're going to jump right into today's episode. We got some stories. We have a lot going on. We got some awesome Swole Fam posts, things that we maybe didn't cover yesterday. We have a lot of accountability text to go through that we didn't do yesterday because it is Tuesday. We had Accountability Monday yesterday with some brand new releases, so we'll talk about that. We'll get into some questions and, of course, balls deep. So thank you again for being here. Hit the thumbs up button and drop in the comments, what are you smashing? Let's freaking go, Beaches. Are you ready to bust this nut wide open? Valk. Solid. Okay, fam, you know you need to go to the fucking gym, right? Today I'm rocking the famous Door the Swole Explorer Vamos al Puto Gimnasio shirt, and if you want to get swole AF, that's the swole card today. If you want to get swole as fuck, you need to ve al puto gimnasio. Go to the fucking gym. Damn right. Hashtag swole AF. Drop that in the comments down below for a chance to win today's swole card. Now let's jump right into that tip. Babe, just an inch, just an inch. It's cold outside. It is not cold outside. It is not cold outside, but gentlemen, we will say whatever we could, whatever we can, won't we, to get in there. We'll say whatever we can. It's just a tip, just a tip. Just come on, take a breath. What's that over there? Squirrel. Boom, right in there. All right, let's talk about some new releases. So yesterday we dropped new yoga and new merch. We got some new designs over there. Remember, over at papaswolio.com, 20% off everything on the site for a limited time. We're still running this St. Patty's. We're extending it because people were loving on it so much. And we have new merch, so fuck it. I decided to pass the gains on to you. We got Swole Foods. That's a brand new design. If you like yourself some Whole Foods, fuck Whole Foods. Get yourself some Swole Foods. Swole Foods doesn't have any garbage. If you've ever been to a Whole Foods, you know that, oh, it's expensive. There's a lot of wood. Oh, it's organic. There's still like 95% garbage in Whole Foods. You guys know that, right? 95% of what's in Whole Foods is shit. But Swole Foods, it's just beef. It's fucking beef. Beef and some fruit everywhere. Swole Foods, now available on papaswolio.com. And of course, we have the even more epic. I don't know which one's more epic. Which one do you think is better? Who cares? Buy them both. Check out the brand new Pepsi design, GTTFG. So people are going to see first glance like, oh, this guy really loves Pepsi. And like, what does GTTFG stands for? Go to the fucking gym, you chode. Damn right. Let's get some gorillas. That's a nice design. I really like it in that, was it a gray or a blue? I mean, like a heather blue, something like that. It's a nice color. And it looks great on a mug too. So check it out. GTTFG Pepsi design. And of course, we have the Swole Foods design over there. papaswolio.com. All right, let's get into some Swole fan posts. Are you ready, Beaches? We got a couple. Well, speaking of merch, we're going to jump into the merch one. And then we got an awesome gym post. And then we're going to get into a couple more accountability posts that we didn't get into yesterday because we got a lot of responses. We can only do so many. And sometimes a couple came in after the buzzer. First one's from Dennis. And speaking of merch, Dennis has a nice fucking haul. That's fantastic.
I gave it a 10. A 10. A fucking 10.
Dennis says, I'm feeling too swole right now. And on, I guess, laid out in front, got a new merch haul. I'm a Barbell Girl Shred. I love that on black. And Forest Pump, looking great on a black top. Forest Pump, Shred, and Barbell Girl. Nice choices, Dennis. Wear them well. Hopefully they bring you many a sick fucking gain. Nancy says, first day back in the gym after 3 months of PT on my IT band. Took it slow, but it's great to be back. I'm thinking being a weekend warrior for a while is going to work out best with my schedule and continue doing PT at home during the week with some yoga. Let's fucking go. All right. Do whatever you can. Do whatever you can. I hope you're going to get out of that weekend warrior vibe as soon as possible, but I hear you. Sometimes you got to pivot and sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. We got a post here from Aaron, responding to the Swole text that I send on Sundays. If you're not a member, join us, swolenormousx.com. Get access to all the private live streams, private groups, programs, yoga, meditation, master classes, all that. All the information in the description. Go to swolenormousx.com. Aaron says, I'm promising to continue to implement meditation in my daily routine. It's been getting better as this past week went on, but it's not daily as of yet. I started writing it in my daily to-do list, which has helped. I'll continue to write it on the list and do it during my study breaks and when I step away from the books. Good man. Good man. Christopher says this week's focus is on sleep and hydration. For whatever reason, I consumed a lot less water last week, and on top of it, my sleep was terribly disturbed. I've set alarms for every 30 minutes during daylight hours to remind myself to get enough water, so I'm drinking less at night. I'm aiming to prevent bathroom trips from waking me up and interrupting my sleep. Need to get back on track, so this is my game plan for this week. Yeah, that's a problem when it comes to getting enough water in, is tapering it off in the evening, and everyone's going to be different. But if you're drinking tons of water during the day, or if you're getting home from work, you're pounding a lot at night, you have to understand that if you chug half a liter or a liter of water at 6, 7 o'clock, it processes through. You're going to be pissing at 9, 10. You just got to keep that in mind. If you're drinking 9, 10 o'clock at night, you're going to be getting up at 12, 1, 2, 3 to piss. So try to drink as much as you can earlier in the day. front load your hydration. First thing in the morning, I drink at least 32 ounces of water with electrolytes. Just pound that shit. And then, of course, I'm drinking a lot throughout the day, sweating a lot. I'm in the sun a lot. I'm out in the garden. I'm out working and all that stuff. It's hot as shit down here in Florida. So just make sure you're drinking a lot earlier in the day. Remember, hydration is not just how much water, it's the electrolytes. So a lot of times people are cramping and they're not feeling hydrated, but they're drinking tons of water. They're just not getting enough electrolytes. So they're really, hydration is more than just the H2O. You need to get the magnesium, potassium, sodium in there. So good idea. Front load your day with water. Diana, I'm working on staying healthy even when I have to travel for work. Will pack my protein powder that contains no milk products. So I have something healthy for breakfast no matter the options at the hotel. And 3 kickboxing classes this week before I travel. All right. Good for you, D-Bones. All right, good stuff. Diego says, finish going through the 5-minute session of brain gains and now just do the 10-minute sessions before bed. Solid. Again, when it comes to anything, if you need to get some yoga in and some mobility, start with the Swollen 7. If you're a member, start with the 7-minute mobility. You don't have to do a 30-minute or 20-minute Swolga or a 30-minute Express class. Start with something small. Stack those habits, right? Again, a great book to read. I'll say it 1,000 times because I don't have to explain it in detail. You read the book, it's going to help you a lot more, and it's going to give you all the structure, and you'll see what I'm talking about all the time. Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a great book. Start with the small things. Start with 2 minutes of brain gain. Start with 3 minutes. 5 minutes is great. Just start with the smallest amount, and then you'll expand from there. It's really about the intent and the execution and the satisfaction of adding it into your daily habits more than the time spent, because that time will come. All right. You'll expand from there. Anyone that has done that and has started with 5 and now does 10, 20 and the like, you could drop in the comments. I think it's a great way to do it. Just get your foot in the door. Gwyneth says, I broke my finger. Oh no. So I have to take a little break from heavy lifting per my doctor. I'm going to work on building endurance with cardio. All right. Well, you could also do chair yoga. You could do chair yoga because obviously you're not doing a lot of stuff with your hands. I mean, maybe there's some parts in the chair yoga, but you could do yoga and just skip yin, things that obviously maybe a downward dog or a chaturanga isn't going to be possible, but you can definitely do a yoga class and then maybe put your elbows or your forearms on blocks or something. You can adjust and just skip things that you can't do. So don't think that you can't do mobility because of your finger. You could still work your way around it. So you could do a class, and there's a lot of spinal twist class and hip classes and shoulder classes where you're not like pushing into your fingertips. And if there is something like that, you just skip it or adjust it or modify so you can still get your mobility in. All right, Mike says consistency. Working on consistency this week. I will finish week 3 of Maximum Swole with chair yoga classes, 1 and 2 done on my recovery days. I will be on vacation for the final 4 days of the week and have already purchased guest passes at a local gym where I am staying in order to maintain my training schedule. Good for you, Mike. I love it. No excuses. Traveling, who cares? Get it done. Last one we got is from Rihanna. Rihanna says, I'm planning on upping my weights this week as we're getting a new curled bar this week. It has the indents in the curve for hand grip, not a straight bar. So that's what we call an easy curl bar. She says, I feel like I'm 5 explaining this. No, some people don't know what it is. An easy curl bar, obviously it's bent in the center, so you can grab it. It's great for reverse curls. If you want to do reverse curls, if you don't want to grab a straight bar, great for reverse curls, great for skull crushers, all sorts of exercises, actually. Deadlifts. You could use an easy curl bar for so many things. I'm starting small as I want to stay consistent with hydration and yoga as well as upping the weight so that I don't just hyper focus on one thing and lose the rest. Well said. Well said. All right. So if any of you watching, maybe you're not a member or you didn't get a chance to respond in time for this text, you could drop in the comments down below if you are holding yourself accountable, if you want to put something out there and drop it in the comments. Okay. Let's get into a couple... we got a couple email responses on the don't feel like training today and are you doing it every day emails. All right. If you want to get on the email list, if the podcast and the knowledge cock here is not enough, I hear you. You get addicted to it. It's addicting, isn't it? It really is. Go to makeemailswoleagain.com. Links in the description, but you can just go to makeemailswoleagain.com. That's makeemailswoleagain.com. Get my knowledge cock in your inbox. It's great. It will fire you up. It'll give you a reason to look in your inbox and, you get tired of the spam and the promotions and like, hey, get this and this. Now you can actually make some gains when you open your Gmail. All right. Are you doing it every day? Andre says, hi. Today I'm kind of a little bit tired because of the intermittent fasting for my cut, but I'll manage to go to the gym because I'll train after having some carbs. I want to be swole, and you're right. We don't gain muscle without heavy work, so I'll do it today, tomorrow, and forever. Damn. Thank you for your motivating emails, reels, and posts. See you in the fucking gym, Papa. Respect. And remember, of course, I say go to the fucking gym every day, and then people on TikTok or Instagram, well, we have to have rest days. We have to recover. It's the idea, okay? If you're doing yoga, going for a walk, I don't lift heavy every day. You can't. You can't just overstress your body every day. If you're younger, sure, you recover faster. Maybe you can get away with more load. You can do ridiculous workouts day after the next and the next, and you recover faster. But, you know, it's just not realistic. You need to repair. So you're going to have, quote, days off, but that doesn't mean you sit around with your hand down your pants, Al Bundy style, watching Netflix. Do some yoga, do some mobility, go for a walk, go for a swim, go for a casual bike ride, play some basketball. You know, do something that's going to help you focus on your nutrition. And plus, being active is going to keep you in line with your nutrition. If you're sitting around all day, you might not eat as much. And remember, okay, you're not exercising that day, but you're repairing from previous workouts. So you need to get that protein in. You need to get the healthy fats. You need to get all your nutrients in. All right, let's do one more. Responding to the email, don't feel like training today, from Mike. Mike says, Papa Swolio, I had a what the fuck am I doing here moment at the gym this morning. Tired, sore, hurt, and limping around in pain, but this is why. Throwing around iron makes me better and stronger than yesterday. Above all, consistency has been the most important pillar for me. It's the only way I will see results, so I finished my day 1, week 3 of maximum swole with chest and triceps. I also did high-intensity interval training and completed my daily training. I did not feel any less sore, tired, or have less hip pain, but I got it done. Keep giving great advice. Well, keep responding with awesome responses and getting it done. Good for you, Mike. Proud of you. Again, go to makeemailswoleagain.com if you want to get on the gain train. Again, makeemailswoleagain.com. Why would you not? It's 100% free, and you'll get that knowledge cock in your inbox. Speaking of knowledge cock, let's go deep. Yeah. You like that? I know you fucking do. I know you do. I know you do. Are there any women here today? All right, let's do it. Moving right along. If you got questions, we'll take some questions. Midnight's Anthem on YouTube. What up? Evening Papa and fam. I'm recovering from an ankle surgery I had in December, so I'm smashing my PT exercise and nutrition. Nice. Good for you. Okay. If you have a question, drop in the comments, hashtag AskPapaSwolio. And a reminder to those of you watching on YouTube, when we finish up with these questions, you have to switch over to Rumble. So make sure you're subscribed on Rumble. That way we don't make anyone, the sad faces. So full episodes only on Rumble, rumble.com/Daily Swole. Links in the description. Just a heads up that we'll be switching over there at the end of this section. If you're watching on Rumble too, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Thank you so much for doing it. Still trying to hit that record. Weak on the thumbs up. Come on, fam. If you don't know, I spent all this money on a special Bluetooth and connectivity. I got a special API plugin. So when you hit the thumbs up button on Rumble and even on YouTube, it rumbles and it vibrates my taint. So come on. I spent all this money on it. You know, make sure you rumble the taint. Rumble the taint. Hit the thumbs up button and trust me. Oof. Yeah, I felt it. That was nice. I don't know who did that, but thank you. All right, so just hit the thumbs up button. All right, first question is from Sassy Sus on Instagram. Papa Swolio, any suggestion for beginner-friendly training session at the gym? Yeah. It's so generic, this kind of a question. I do have a lot of suggestions. I think everyone should be starting with yoga and stuff. But of course, it matters what your form is. You could start with the full body workout, start with the basics, start with the pushing movement, start with the pulling movement, right? A press, a row. You don't need to do any isolation for biceps and triceps. I just can't explain, you know. You don't want to push to failure. You want to get yourself used to it. you really only need probably 3 exercises, right? A squatting movement or a leg press or a hack squat, a chest press, and some sort of back row, especially when you're starting. Start with full body or upper lower. Really depends on what kind of a beginner you are, where you are with your physical activity. If you're morbidly obese and you can't move well, that's going to be a factor. If you've been kind of training, but now you want to take it seriously, but you're still technically a beginner, that's a little bit different. Someone who has good control of their body. So there's a lot of different things there, but definitely get into the yoga. And if you want to join the Swole fam over at Swolenormous X, the 90-day dash or Swole Mastery are good entry-level programs that we have. Jay Righteous, Papa Swole, what's the best brand of coffee to buy? I do not have an answer for that. So I'm going to pose that to the Swole fam watching. What coffee do you choose? I would recommend something that's high quality, something that's organic, because you don't want pesticides. You want something that is a company that takes pride in having like the cleanest beans. You don't want mycotoxins. You don't want moldy coffee. You don't want anything that's, really blends that might have mixtures of coffee from different, from different roastings or from different places that might decrease the cleanliness of the coffee. Something like Folgers that sits on your supermarket shelf for 8 months is not a good idea. Personally, I like to grind the beans fresh. I find pre-ground coffee offensive. I like it fresh. I like to open that bean up. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, ladies? Yeah, I like to open that bean up fresh when I make my coffee. So, yeah. Generally, some sort of organic single origin coffee is good. And, just don't drink your coffee past noon. That's a good piece of advice. Keep it to like 10, 12 hours before you have to go to sleep, because that caffeine will jack you up. All right, Kilo Queen, Papa Swolio, what inspired you to create your Papa Swolio account? I mean, which one? You mean the real Papa Swolio or the Swolenormous? I mean, we'll talk specifically because we've answered this question many times, but the real Papa Swolio account was actually a product of the Daily Swole account getting terminated on Instagram. So I still don't know why. So if you don't know, if you haven't been following for a long time, I had the Swolenormous account and I had the Daily Swole account on Instagram. And the Daily Swole account one day they just deleted it. Just gone. Absolutely gone. So it wasn't a massive account. I mean, it had like 20,000, I think it was like 17 or 27 something thousand followers, I think, or something like that. It was like, let's just say 20K or 22 or 21. It was just deleted. I got no email. Just everything was gone. It just wasn't there anymore. So no warning, no reasoning. I didn't even know I never got an alert like, hey, your account has been terminated. It was just disappeared as if it never existed. Seriously, that was the weirdest thing. I don't mind. I shouldn't say I don't mind. But if you're going to delete something, let me know why. Hey, this post did this, that, and the other. TikTok doesn't do that. It's like, this is bullying and harassment. What about it was? And a lot of times something will get flagged and I'll appeal it because like, there's no way this should get flagged. And then it gets rejected. It's like, who's looking at this stuff? I don't think anyone is. So the Daily Swole, it just got deleted. So that's why we don't have a podcast account anymore. I'm not going to create another one. It's like, oh, fuck it. People will find the podcast, anyway, it is what it is. And we post clips on the Swolenormous page and the Real Papa Swolio page. But, so right when that one got deleted, I was like, okay, well, let's create the Real Papa Swolio account. And luckily, right when we created that account, had some uber virality on the Swolenormous account, and it crossed over to the Real Papa Swolio account. So we were able to float that for a while, and then the Real Papa Swolio blew up along with it because we did collaborations with the Swolenormous post. And then when the accounts got shut down and hacked and stuff, this happened a couple of years ago, the Swolenormous page was down, but the Real Papa Swolio was still there. So luckily we had that, but because we're posting the main posts were on the Swolenormous account and we're kind of collabing with the Real Papa Swolio, it wasn't organically on that page. So then we had no reach on the Real Papa Swolio page. So all of a sudden lost the Swolenormous account for like 3 months. And then the Real Papa Swolio account we were posting getting no reach. So we had to like generate that organic reach. It just keeps on just pounding the pavement, just doing it. And then we got the Swolenormous back. It was a whole thing. Had to, hire a lawyer and deal with Meta and stuff like that. But we got it back, got all the stuff back. So anyway, I don't know if we've talked about that story in a while or or whatnot. So that's the real Papa Swolio account on TikTok. But of course, the Swolenormous account, that was from 2015, 2016. Billy Bear FM, Papa Swolio, is the weight I can lift and a cut important if I still go to failure, weights have dropped? Well, they're going to. If you're essentially starving your body, not giving it as much as it needs so your body takes extra energy, it's taxing, it's stressful for the body. So is the weight you can lift on a cut important? Absolutely. So if you still go to failure. So we talk about this a lot. It's a great question, actually. You can build muscle doing, I think in general, it's like 5 to 30 reps, something like that. The difference between doing 5 reps to failure, let's say you're going to absolute failure. And what failure means is that on the last rep, you don't get it. Failure is not like you completed 5 and then you put it down. That's 0 reps in reserve. You didn't attempt that last rep, so you didn't fail. So a failure rep is, let's say you do 5 reps and then on the 6th one, you go halfway and you just can't get it. Boom. And you put it down. That's 5 reps to failure. Okay. You can build muscle doing 30 reps to failure. The difference is by doing 30 reps, you're really only getting that stimulation. You're getting that growth stimulus around the last 5 reps leading up to and including failure. So if you're doing 30 reps, you're really benefiting, and this is just a ballpark, but around 25 to 30 is when that rep scheme. But you're doing so many reps, you're creating so much fatigue, you're better off doing lower reps to failure and not doing as much of that volume. You're doing 25 reps to get to those stimulating reps. You can go heavier and incur less fatigue. And the difference is, if you're going to failure, what I would recommend for you is to increase the weight, but leave 1 rep in the tank. So this is very hard to do if you're a beginner. And this is why when we talk in general, I say train to failure, because most people don't know how, they don't understand. They haven't had enough experience. They don't know what failure feels like, or they don't know what 0 reps in reserve feels like. They don't know what 1 rep in reserve. When you start talking about 2 or 3 reps in reserve, most people might be leaving 5 in the tank and they're getting no stimulating reps. So I usually like to say 0, 1, or to failure, because most people will probably stop a little bit short. And worst case scenario, if you go, hey, I'm going to try to do 0 reps in reserve or 1 rep and you have 2, okay, you're still getting some stimulating reps. What I would recommend, if you're going to failure with lighter weight, the weights have dropped, but you can get a lot of benefit by leaving 1 in the tank, and you'll get the mechanical tension from going heavier. So for example, rather than doing, let's say you're doing 100 pounds, let's say you're doing 5 reps, okay? Let's say you're doing 5 reps to failure. That last rep, or let's just say 6 reps. Let's say you're doing 6 reps to failure. So you can't get the 7th rep, 6 reps to failure. That 6th rep is so fatiguing because that last one is, you're fighting everything and you're barely getting it, and then you're failing on the next one. So rather than attempting that 6th rep, do 5 and leave 1 in the tank. But you have to really know that, okay, I have 1 more, but I'm not going to attempt it, because even though that's another stimulating rep, the amount of fatigue that last rep is going to create is often not necessarily worth it. So if you are lifting, and let me know if I'm making sense, I'm trying to explain it. If you're new to hearing this could be a lot, but a lot of you that listen to the show regularly, this is just building upon what you already know. If your weights have dropped, I would go heavier to compensate for that, and then leave 1 in the tank, because you're going to be more fatigued by being on a cut. You don't have to cut that much, a couple hundred calories. You got to make sure that you're not undercutting yourself, focus on getting enough protein in still. So I would just say leave 1 in the tank, because rather than you can go heavier and leave 1 in the tank rather than going to failure with lighter weight. You're going to incur less fatigue, and you're going to compensate with the mechanical tension by going heavier with that 1 rep in reserve. And also what I would also recommend, Andrew on YouTube just reminded me of something. Andrew said, basically try not to overtrain on something new. Yeah. When you're on a cut, just keep in mind when you're doing a new movement, and it doesn't have to be drastic. A lot of people think if it's something different, if you're using a different machine, it's a new stress. It's a new strength curve. strength profile, right? The resistance might be heavier at a certain point in the movement. So if you're doing like a pull down machine, then you're doing a high row machine, like they're different. It's a different movement. So when you do a new stress, that's much more fatiguing for the body than you might realize. And this compounds over time. So you don't overtrain in one session. But if you do too much volume or you go too much to failure on new movements, you're getting the stress of the new movement, the unique strength profile. So it's more fatiguing and you're expending much more energy and it's much more stress on the body, and you're going to failure. So if I do new movements and I'm adding new stuff to my routine or I'm switching it up, and I just did that with this last couple of weeks, I'm changing up. And sometimes I change just because, hey, I've done these exercises for a month or two. I want to mix it up a little bit. I just feel like doing something different. Fine. I usually leave a rep in the tank, and I might do an extra set. I'll probably do 2 sets I usually just do 2 sets for an exercise. Rarely do I do 3, but I'll leave 1 in the tank. That way I can go heavy, but I'm taking a little fatigue off the table just because it's a new movement. So I'm trying to compensate for that novelty of the movement. And then the next week I might push to failure. So it depends on how I feel. Lately, I've been feeling a little bit drained for whatever reason. Plus it's hotter outside. Down here got hot, dramatically hotter in Florida. So I don't know. I just felt a little bit more fatigued. So I still want to train. I still want to keep my protocol. I've been doing generally a 2 days on with intense training, 1 day off, maybe accessories and recovery, but 2 on, 1 off. So rather than pause, do a deload or whatever, I'm just leaving 1 rep in the tank and I might cut back on the volume. So if I feel a little bit like, oof, I want to catch up. So I'm not going to do like a full out, my maximum volume that I'll do, which might be 6 sets for a body part. Maybe I'll do 4 and leave a rep in the tank. That way I'm not incurring as much fatigue, but I can still train hard. And then systemically, neurologically, and my central nervous system will recover. Because it's not really so much, hey, is my chest still sore? A lot of times, like your body, most of the time, your physical local recovery, like your chest, will recover faster than your central nervous system, because you're not just training your chest, you're training your chest. Then the next day, maybe you're training your back, or you're doing a leg workout, or you're doing upper lower or push pull, whatever it is. And even though you're not training your chest every day, just because in 7 days, hey, I haven't trained my chest in 7 days, how come my strength hasn't gone up? Yeah, well, you trained intensely every fucking day. You didn't take any days off, numbskull. So you did your chest and your back and then your quads and your hamstrings and your glutes and so your body is exhausted, because a set to failure let's say you're doing a set of calves to absolute failure. That's systemically taxing. Bicep curls, systemically taxing. Now, bicep curls or calf raises, depending on what you do, isn't as taxing as doing, let's say, a hack squat or a barbell squat or a Smith machine squat, because when you're axial loading, it's more stress on the entire body. So if you're doing those types of movements, keep that in mind. Those are going to be more fatiguing. So just understand, like for me, for example, I have a lot of machines at my house. If my legs are fucking sore as hell, I'm not going to do my standing calf raise machine necessarily, because then the weight's on my shoulders and it goes up to 500-pound stack. I have a gym pin. I could load more on my neck. That's a lot. I might do a seated calf raise, or I might do my donkey calf raise, or I have different machines. So I might not want to load it on my spine if I'm doing a lot of other stuff, or if I'm fatigued from other movements like that. It's hot in here. Turn my fan on a little bit. Freeze my nips off. I need those nips rock hard. You know what I'm saying? I need those nips.
I will rain down an ungodly fucking firestorm upon you.
All right, how we doing? Does that make sense for everyone? Everyone always gets quiet when the knowledge cock is pushing in. Matthew says those Platts hacks are amazing. Oh, they're great. Platts hack squats are the fucking bomb. Okay, let's see here. Justas, Papa Soli, how to find motivation / discipline to go to the gym. You don't. You go because how do you find discipline? You don't find discipline, you forge it, you create it. You're not going to find, if you're looking for motivation, it's like chasing a fart in the fucking wind. You're not going to find it. So forge discipline, stop being a pussy, go to the fucking gym. Tavolegi, 1969. Papa Solio, what about having sex the night before training legs, morning training? Yes or not? You'll be fine. Is this like the classic, if you have sex before competing, it's going to... I mean, how about this? If you're up all night till 3 or 4 in the morning and you're training at 7 a.m., yeah, it's going to fuck you up because you're not sleeping. But you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Cascabas. You might even train better. Pampasolio, I want to go to the fucking gym, but I'm so sleepy. Do you have some advice? Get better sleep, you chode.
Matt Damon.
Right. Stephen C. Shell. Biote? Testosterone? Hormone pellet therapy. Thoughts? What the fuck is that? Hormone pellet therapy? Do they shoot them up your asshole or something? What's pellet therapy? I've never even heard of that. I'm almost 40. Test levels horrible. Talk to your doctor, bro. I mean, I'm going to be 41 this year. So I'm on the cusp. I'm open to it. I've talked about it. I've said this many times. I'm not against TRT. When I do it, I'll mention it. I'll be like, hey, I'm getting tested, and because it's going to drop eventually. Even if I train hard, I eat well, and I sleep well, it just might be higher than others. So I'm just not eager to maybe jump on that before I need to. So, I mean, honestly, lifestyle habits will raise your testosterone dramatically. Chances are you're not training regularly, or you're not eating properly, or sleeping well. You don't want to just take a pill or an injection just to fucking fix something that can be improved by lifestyle habits, but not always lifestyle habits. Lifestyle habits don't necessarily fix all the problems from 30 or 40 years of poor behavior. So it only do so much. It'll make leaps and bounds better. Testosterone's not magic. It's not magic. Even if you're doing TRT, it's not magic. So, but yeah, just understand, if you go to a place like a clinic, a TRT clinic, here's the thing. What do they want to do? They want to sell you TRT. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. If you're going to a place that does TRT, they want you to be on TRT. So they're obviously going to be like, hey, you can bring these levels up. You should, just be careful of people that are trying to push you on something. If you're going to some place that does that, they want you to give them money. Big O on Rumble. Papa Soy, I heard about the pellets. It is true, they slow release. But if you go to the fucking gym and ve al puto gimnasio and do what you say, you won't need it. I got a quote and bought a steak instead. Nice. Oh, so they inject a slow release. Oh, okay. So it's a pellet that slow release. No, maybe that's good. So you don't have to do injections as frequently or something like that. Mike Dizzle, Papa Soy, what's the best way to maintain balance on T-bar rows? I find myself rocking back on my heels slightly, even at a lighter weight. Do you have chest supported? I don't do standard T-bar rows. I used to, but I have a T-bar row machine. So try chest supported, try dumbbells or something on an incline bench, because then you're taking out. Yeah. So a lot of people will say, well, but then you're not getting the stabilizers. Well, then train the stabilizers, So people that say, well, you have to do barbell rows. I did barbell rows for years. I'm not against barbell rows. I just don't do them now. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not saying I'll never do it again. But if I'm trying to train my back, like my lats or something like that, then I want to train my lats. I don't need my spinal erectors getting involved. I work those in other movements. I'll do 45-degree hypers for my glutes holding like a 150-pound kettlebell. My spinal erectors are doing just fine. You don't have to do it all in one movement. So it really depends on what you're trying to accomplish. You see what I'm saying? Anyone that says you have to do deadlifts because then you're going to be integrating, it's like there are other ways to do hip hinge exercises that might even be better for you, or you might feel them better. Just saying. Okie dokie. Any other questions or follow-ups with that? Does that make sense, Mike? So mobility works, rocking back on your heels. And I will say, when it comes to T-bar rows, are you on a T-bar row machine, or are you kind of like rigging it with a bar in the corner of a gym or a landmine? Just understand that not all machines are created equal. There's some, I know the machines you're talking about, like it has a platform and it's a T-bar, but there's no chest support. But some of them, the angles suck. Maybe your limb length. It's like sometimes the angles of some of these machines just suck. So again, it really depends on what you're trying to do. But deadlifts are fun. Yeah, look, I did deadlifts my whole life. I just haven't done them in a while. I don't miss him. I don't miss him at all. I don't miss him at all. I have no desire. But RDLs are great. So look, if you don't have to do deadlifts, you can do RDLs. That's fantastic. It's a hip hinge exercise. You're hitting a lot of it. I think it's a much more effective movement. RDLs are even better than deadlifts in so many ways. But again, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Not against deadlifts. I did them for a long time, and now I haven't done them for a long time. So I've done both. So I have opinions about both. A corner bar with plates. All right, so it's not chest supported. I used to do those all the time, Mike. Again, I used to do a lot, but I look back on everything that I used to do for back. I used to do deadlifts. I used to do T-bar rows, and you just start to see that it's a lot of repetition. To do deadlifts and non-supported T-bar rows, like that's a lot on, like you don't need to do all that in one workout, for example. So this is, again, where it comes to the fatigue, and also what a lot of people do, and what I used to do a lot of time, is just redundancy. There are a lot of people that work out and they'll do like 5 movements all for their lats, and it's Jesus Christ, you know, like you're just beating a dead horse. If you're trying to train your lats well, what, 4 sets in a workout, 4 sets to failure or close, like that's what you need. You can mix it up subtly. You can do a wide pull down. You could do a high row or a pullover machine. After that, you're just doing the same thing over and over again. You're better off funneling all that into 1 or 2 movements, going heavier, squeezing the lemon dry, and then moving on to something with an elbow flare like a T-bar, chest supported row, or something like that. Just keep in mind, a lot of people do a lot of things over and over again. Like how much work do you need to put on your spinal erectors in one workout? Do you need to do deadlifts and RDLs and bent over rows and barbell rows? It's like, you know? Andrew on Rumble. Papa Soy, I'm a college wrestler, so I do a lot of cleans and sport-specific training. Is there a difference in implementing yoga into a plan with that style of training versus a bodybuilding split? Versus a bodybuilding. Is there a difference? Well, there's a difference because you're doing a lot of sport-specific training versus a bodybuilding split. So it's it's different. I mean, it's a completely different protocol. You should be doing yoga with both. So yoga will help your wrestling. It'll help your cleans. It'll help your mobility. It'll help all that stuff, mental health, recoverability. So and there's many different types of yoga. So what a lot of people don't know is that yoga is not yoga. There's yin yoga. There's passive yoga. Yin is just, man, you're relaxing the whole time. It's challenging because you have to be still, but you're holding poses for a long period of time with gravity. So it's not a vinyasa, like a vinyasa level 2 or 3 flow, which is pretty much like a strength class. So if you're doing strength training and then exhausting yourself with like a power yoga, you're going to hurt something. And yoga instructors, I don't know if there's any yoga instructors watching, but yoga instructors get hurt all the time because they might be teaching 2 or 3 or 4 power yoga classes a day. And it's murder on your joints. So if you do more restorative yoga, that's totally fine. So again, Andrew, if you're going to add in yoga, I would add in more of like recovery flows and yin yoga. That way you can build the habit of doing that kind of mobility and you're not overloading yourself with the intensity. Because if you do an intense yoga class with your wrestling and cleans and sport specific, you're not going to get a lot of restoration. It's going to be challenging because it's a new stress. So you're going to be hurting your rotator cuff. You're going to have a lot of different muscles that you've never really trained in that way that are getting fired up, and then they might be fatigued. So if you do let's say a lot of side one arm balances and your rotator cuff is just sore and then you go in your wrestling, you can tear something and then you do cleans the next day. So you just gotta be careful with like what you're doing because it's a new stress. So if you're doing a vinyasa flow, that can really fuck you up. All right. We good? Fam, it's time to go balls deep. If you're watching on the YouTubes, now's your time to switch over to Rumble, rumble.com/Daily Swole. We're going to get into some videos. And yeah, thanks for being here. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, like the show, all that stuff. It's time to go balls deep. So YouTube peeps, switch on over to Rumble. That way you don't miss a moment of the show, or you can always just catch the full show on Rumble. So head on over there and subscribe. Link is in the description down below. Time to go balls deep.
Ooh, that's deep.
Oh, it certainly is. Bye, YouTube. Come on over. Rumbles, the water's fine.